fit with the Caps? Are we going to watch him go and be better than he was here in Detroit?
I think it depends on where he plays and who he plays with. They have a lot of skilled centers on
Starting
that
route
team,
to home.
from Backstrom to
At the light, use the left 2 lanes to turn left.
You can end up on a line with a player and a playmaker like that. His point goal is certainly
In 2.2 miles, turn right onto Commerce Road.
The same thing that he's never proved here in 5 years, and that's a consistent, gnarly effort every single night. It's the reason why he was benched by not just Jeff Blashill, but Steve Yzerman back in February, and ultimately I think it's the reason that the Wings cut bait yesterday. Steve Yzerman was watching Mantha closely for the past 2 seasons, and Steve Yzerman, more than anyone else in the organization, knows what it takes to build a winning core, and he did not see enough from Mantha, I don't think, to warrant keeping him around. The 4-year deal was guaranteeing Mantha nothing more than his money. At some point, he just proved that he was going to be an every night player, and he had yet to do that. Now, maybe that changes in a more competitive environment, we'll see, and I do think his opportunity for a great team. But I also don't think he'll be getting 19 minutes a night. So we'll see what he does there. But certainly, as Yzerman gets in, you do wish him the best.
Vrana, how's he in the defensive zone, or is he just a one-way forward?
Yeah, I mean, there's work to be done there. There is for almost any 25-year-old forward in the NHL. He's also undersized compared to Mantha. I mean, you're talking about a 6'4" compared to a 6'4" or 6'5". So even the reach and the range doesn't compare to Mantha. But the Wings for the past, what do you say, 4 years, 5 years, have been trying to find offensive pieces.
Yeah.
And at some point, you have to be willing to lose with sports on the other side of the top, because I don't care how many great two-way players you have. Until you find legitimate offensive stars, I don't think you can win in today's league. And we'll see if
In 1 mile, turn right onto Commerce Road.
First off, Berchie, my compliments to your descriptors. The term of cut bait last night and a snarling effort. I'm enjoying your descriptors, but I want to know, for the Wings, for Steve Yzerman, why make this trade now? Some would say you might be able to get this, or maybe even a little bit more if you waited till closer to the draft.
I think because he knew what Mantha was, knows what Mantha is, and yeah, he said yesterday that they did mull over the idea of waiting until the draft, but Mantha's value has set itself, and I don't think that was going to change. Now, you may have had more teams in on him at the draft, not just tough contenders, but I don't think, and Yzerman said as much yesterday, that the return would have changed. The fact that the Wings were able to get a first, second, and a good young player in Vrana was surprising, I think, to a lot of people around the league, and I don't think they would have topped that. Look, Yzerman has waited on Mantha for almost 2 full seasons now, and as I wrote last night, guys, the Wings might be waiting on the future, but the future doesn't wait. At some point, you have to raise your own game, or you're no longer part of the effort here moving forward. And I think Steve had to reach that conclusion in his mind. And once he had reached that conclusion and found a good deal, there was no benefit to waiting around.
You can read what Berchie wrote on
Go past this
97.1
light,
the ticket.
then at the next one, turn right.
Staff writer extraordinaire joining us on the Stoney and Jansen program. I was watching, being the geek, I was watching the NHL Network yesterday when all this stuff went down.
At the light, turn right onto Commerce Road.
God, no market for Bernier, Glendening, Gagne. I mean, why even bother keeping these guys? And then all of a sudden, Kevin Weeks goes, I got a text, I think Mantha's on the move to Washington. But as far as the other guy, is it a little disappointing that they wouldn't even get, I don't know, 5th or 6th round, or take a 5th or 6th round?
In 5.3 miles, turn right onto Union Lake Road.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised that a player like Glendening wasn't up to it. I mean, we've talked about his last season in the past.
Yeah.
And this is like the one that made him upset with his contract expiring. And man, we have spent so much time in our little hospital here talking about what a great face-off
Yes.
happened. And he is. I mean, he's on pace for every NHL record. And to me, he's everything that they're looking for at the deadline, and that's just a reliable center who can kill penalties and play in his own zone and win faceoffs. I was surprised that he wasn't moved. It sounds like in the case of Glendening and even others on the roster that maybe the offer came in towards the deadline for a 6th round, 7th round pick, and he'd rather have a more vets in the lineup to help this team down the stretch and kind of help incubate the young guys than taking, basically a throwaway draft pick. And then in the case of Bernier, sounds like this is a guy that really wants to be here. And it's hard to find right now the talented players and free agents that want to come here and stay here. And he's played so well the past couple seasons for a bad team. If the Wings felt like they had a better chance of re-signing him this summer by not doing him, I would think that probably enters the equation as well.
Final thing, are we at the point where because they're winning games and the league is all jumped up that you don't even sit there and root for them to lose games anymore? Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, I agree, Tony. I'm on the track where I want to see this team win because ultimately it's going to be the young players probably driving that, and that's what has to happen. I want to see Philip Pacina and Philip Veronic and even guys like Rapids help this team win games down the stretch. And I'd love to see Dylan Larkin here in the final month of the year take his game to a level that it really hasn't been at most of the season offensively. That I think his offensive step back this year is a little bit concerning. It would be great to see Larkin elevate down the stretch.
All right, Birchie, thanks as always. We do appreciate it. And we got to go have a beer or something since I miss you.
Absolutely, boys. Thanks a lot for having me on.
All right, Will Birchfield, 971theticket.com. Don't forget, Steve Eiserman will join us a little after 8 o'clock here on the Stoney and Jansen program, 97.1 The Ticket.
WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. An Odyssey station. Sports headlines all day, every day. From the Sold by Mike Z Sports Desk. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
This update is brought to you by Clips Premium Audio, making back-to-back victories for the Red Wings as they stunned the Carolina Hurricanes 3-1 last night in Carolina. Adam Ernie would make history last night as his third-period goal was the 20,000th goal scored in Red Wings franchise history. Before the game, the Wings would trade leading scorer Anthony Mantha to the Washington Capitals in exchange for forwards Richard Panik and Jakub Vrana, a first-round draft pick this year and a second-round draft pick next year. That, by the way, turned out to be the biggest trade in the NHL before the deadline arrived yesterday afternoon. The Tigers ended a 4-game losing streak last night with a 6-2 victory over the Houston Astros. Casey Mize wins for the first time in his major league career as he would limit Houston to just 4 hits over 7 innings. Here's manager A.J. Hinch afterwards on Mize's performance.
His stuff is dynamic, we know that. But to see him put it together and I don't want to say fix himself, but kind of corral himself a little bit after some early game, scattering the pitches a little bit. I'm very proud of him to get through 7 scoreless. It's a big night for him.
Game 2 of that 3-game series for the Tigers and Astros will take place tonight. Our coverage starts at 7:50. According to Front Office Sports' Michael McCarthy, officials with the CFL and the XFL are talking about the possibility of teams in those leagues playing a series of in-season interleague games starting in 2022, with the champions of each league meeting each other, similar to the Super Bowl, at the end of the season. That story also notes the XFL is discussing a possible move to the fall, which would allow them to play games on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. From the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Tony Ortiz. For more, stay tuned to 97.1 The Ticket and Odyssey.com.
Live from the Jamie Samuelson Studio, Stoney and Jansen on 97.1 The Ticket.
Thank you, T.O. Look, XFLC. No, you don't want to play in the fall. You want to play in the spring. Right, John?
The XFL?
Yeah. You don't want to see in the fall on Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
They're going to get more viewers in the fall.
It'll fail.
It'll fail. It's going to fail in the spring. Every league has failed in the spring. Are you going to watch football in the spring?
It depends. Look, going back to the USFL and the Michigan Panthers, that was somewhat successful. And then they tried to he tried to move it to the fall. The president's office, I did mention, and killed the league. The league was okay. The league was going to last.
For a while.
Yeah, and then we'll see what happened. But
Yeah.
he can't.
I don't know. I think, I watch Action in the middle of the week. I would watch the XFL in the middle of the week.
And you won't watch action. You have to make a choice.
Yeah, and I'll make that choice. But I would watch it in the spring, as I have all of the other leagues, and I've watched a lot of the FCS teams play this spring. Have you watched any FCS football?
No.
And so that's my point. Is
Well, I
in
don't
the
care.
spring, most people aren't going to watch football.
With all due respect to the FCS, I'm just not interested.
I agree, but how interested are you going to be in the XFL?
Well, if I had a team in my town, I would be. I'd watch. Sure, I
There's just
would.
not enough people that are going to watch football in the spring.
Here's the deal with this. Comes down to how good is the competition. And the only thing that ever worked in the spring was USFL.
Right.
Because the competition was near NFL level.
Very good.
If you had that kind of football in the spring, people would watch it.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Now, granted, it probably won't be that competitive. But the last incarnation of the XFL was okay, and then they obviously COVID hit, things like that. 'Cause
Did you watch the AAF?
I watched to see what was his name? Former Michigan running back Davion Smith.
That whole thing was so shady.
But there were some things in that I thought were intriguing.
At the next
some
light,
rules that,
turn right.
that we have talked about it in
Yeah.
different places, and to be able to listen to the coaches on the sidelines, to be able to hear more and actually get interviews on the sidelines, I thought they did everything they possibly could to gain viewership in spring football, and they couldn't get it done. I just don't believe that there is going to be enough viewers
At the light,
to make it
turn right onto Union Lake Road.
something that can survive in the spring.
It depends what networks they're on. Like if they were on ESPN during the week, it might work. Anyway, enough of that. One of the great players, arguably, in the National Football League announced his retirement yesterday, and that was Julian Edelman of the New England Patriots. Here's a little bit of what Julian had to say.
I've always said
In 1.2
Until the
miles,
wheels come
turn
off.
left onto Meriden
and,
Avenue.
they finally have fallen off. Due to an injury last year, I'll be making my official announcement of my retirement from football. It was a hard decision, but the right decision for me and my family. And I'm honored and so proud to be retiring a Patriot.
It was part of his 4-minute and 58
In 1 mile,
second,
turn left onto
goodbye.
Meriden Avenue.
Much shorter than Stafford's.
Not 11 minutes.
No. Exactly. Right. Stafford, they say wore 9. It was 9 minutes because he wore number 9. Yes, Julian Edelman wearing number 11. Now, the Edelman story is a great story. 7th round pick, kind of a quarterback in college, and, Belichick loved him, and, he had a great relationship with on the field and off the field with Tom Brady, and he was really, really good. And he epitomized, John, you would know better than I have, what a football player is all about. Just tough, doesn't make a difference what the adversity, would always come through with some big plays. I mean, the catch he made in the Super Bowl against the Falcons was just unbelievable. When he doesn't make that catch, they don't win that Super Bowl. But inevitably, when somebody of high skill and prominence, who's well known, retires in the world of sports, the 3 letters in a punctuation mark come up, and that's HOF question mark. Julian Edelman, going through some social media, some writers, there are people that believe, because he was really good in the playoffs,
He was clutch.
that Julian Edelman should be in Canton. And I mean, and here we go, because we're going to end up disrespecting Julian Edelman. Not even a prayer. I mean, are you going to tell me that the regular season means nothing? I mean,
Turn left onto
yeah,
Meriden Avenue.
Okay, I'm going to give you stats of a person. You tell me who you think this person is, who can't even get basically in the final 5, the final ballot of the Hall of Fame.
Turn
Julian
right
Edelman,
onto Point
620
Street.
catches, 6,822 yards, 36 touchdowns, 1 Super Bowl MVP, no Pro Bowls.
In a quarter
His
mile,
player
turn
had
right
1,000
onto Lagoon
catches,
Avenue.
12,083 yards, 85 touchdowns, 1 Super Bowl MVP, and 4 Pro Bowls. And that person can't even make the final ballot the last 5 years. You know who that person is?
I don't. I know that there's one with stats even better than that that's not getting in. So you tell me yours first, and I'll give you another one.
That's Hines Ward.
How about Isaac Bruce?
Turn right onto Lagoon Avenue. Then
Yeah.
the destination is on your
Bruce
right.
got in.
Oh, he's in.
Yes.
Yeah, he most no doubt.
Yes, waited too long, but yes.
Yeah.
got
Wait.
in.
So my apologies to Isaac Bruce
That's
that I
okay.
didn't realize he went in, but it took him.
The destination is on
I
your
know
right.
that he was on the ballot 3
8353
times.
Lagoon Avenue.
And he had over 1,000
Arrived
yards,
at home.
over 15,000 yards, 91 touchdowns, and there was still debate about him